Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Inside edition of Laurel Highlands Happenings. Today we have taken you on previous episodes inside the brewery, we've taken you inside the distillery, and now for the first time we're taking you inside the winery. So we are here today at Bee Kind Winery right in Ligonier, and we're going to go in depth, talk about the wine, talk about the awesome people here that make this place a must stop on the Pour Tour, and just kind of get into it. So thanks for joining me, and let's turn it over to our two guests. Can you guys introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Joe Kendrick. I'm the owner of Bee Kind Winery.
I'm Sharon. I'm the manager here at the Ligonier store.
Awesome. And you guys are one of the newest wineries in the area. Do you want to talk about kind of how you got your start in Ligonier? You know, why did you choose this location? And tell us more about Bee Kind.
Well, sure. The winery's just getting close to about 10 years old. And we have our base winery and store is in Clearfield, up in Clearfield County.
Mm-hmm.
We've had interest down here and a lot of customer base over the last 10 years in Ligonier to Pittsburgh to Greensburg area. And so Sharon lives down here in the area and has been a great friend and somebody to our family and to the business. Mm-hmm. And so she was really interested in setting up a store down here. We had a lot of demand. And so we came down. She found this location, and which is a beautiful place, a nice little hotel. Mm-hmm. So we kind of got started here, met this owner, and kind of hit it off. And Sharon was ready to start selling wine down here in Ligonier.
Yeah, I started out with Joe drinking his wine. He basically taught me everything I know about wine. Mm-hmm. And like he said, we just became great friends. And when I lost my job, I went out on the road with Joe doing the festivals, mm-hmm. and we connived together and opened up this store. I was born and raised in Stallstown, mm-hmm. Graduated from Ligonier. So our wine speaks for itself. It's just good tasting wine. Joe does a wonderful job. We have dry, sweets, semi-sweets, mm-hmm. some honey wines. So we'll just let Joe tell a little bit about the wines.
Sure. Well, just another little thing, we came into this area because of the Ligonier and not only its popularity for tourism, mm-hmm. but it is a hidden historic gem for Pennsylvania. And we're our area as well has a lot of history, a lot to do with the environment, mm-hmm. and our Pennsylvania and the Pennsylvanians' history. And so that was really another real reason to come in here. It's very small business and family business friendly, which is super important to us. And so it's, just a little more of the reasons why we would come in and tuck into a nice area like this. We also, there's other great wineries around here, mm-hmm. That are very good friends of ours and people we know. So it makes for the Pour Tour, it's nice because you got a lot of nice different wineries, everybody doing a little bit of their own thing. Mm-hmm. And, nicer than the big retailers and, the liquor stores and stuff like that. You get more of that family personal touch. Mm-hmm. And, hopefully a more natural type of a wine too, to be quite honest.
Exactly. I mean, it's so nice. I mean, you can hear right when we started our podcast, I think we were about a minute in, the bells were ringing outside. So you really get that Stars Hollow type of feel as soon as you enter the town. And as soon as I started at the Laurel Highlands, I thought it was weird. There was nowhere in town to get wine. It seemed like something that was so natural a fit in Ligonier. I was like shocked there was no place to go. You go to downtown Gettysburg and there might be 8 wineries as you just walk around that small little street.
Exactly.
Right. So I was like Ligonier. I'm like, there should be 3-4 wineries, just around the diamond here. So yeah, it was a really smart pickup on this location. Someplace that has a ton of foot traffic anyway, and it's just a natural fit for what people might be shopping for.
Yeah, we have a lot of Pour Tour customers that come in here. They're very surprised to find us in the town of Ligonier. And they come in and we don't just sell wine. We have all our Christmas baskets mm-hmm. set up with miscellaneous things in them. You can customize your own Christmas basket. And Ligonier is just a great town, like Joe said. And being part of the Pour Tour, we meet a lot of people in here. I do. and they're having a lot of fun with the Pour Tour. They make it a family thing. They've made it. They've had their own personal contest going on to see who's going to fill that book up first. So the Pour Tour has really helped Bee Kind Winery and Ligonier get started. It's been a big part of us, and we're very happy to be a part of it.
Great.
I'm happy you mentioned about the family friendliness of the Pour Tours, and specifically this one. A lot of times, wine and distilled products and brewery products, you think of it as going to a bar or going to somewhere where the kids can't be there necessarily, or maybe it's not appropriate for the kids to be there. But when it comes to the Pour Tour, it's, the families, Ligonier's got so many things that are family friendly and kid friendly, and you can enter all these places. You're not going to come in and find a bunch of drunk people hanging out, things like that.
Right.
It's, it's really family friendly. And, most of the wineries on the tour are families that are running them as well. They're not just some big corporate organization in there that doesn't have a soul or somebody there to, take care of making sure that the kids can be there. Maybe people that don't drink can even be along with their families for the Pour Tour and things like that. So it's an important part for us. We really strive ourselves to encourage, the families and people being together and getting to go hang out and do things, especially at, the wineries have been wildly popular over the last 5 years. It's really exploded in Pennsylvania, especially. And it's because we have access to just this amazing fruit and products that are Pennsylvania, New York grown. And so it's nice to see there's families that are growing those as well. They're not just some big, vineyards and stuff that's run by people that don't even know who you don't know who they are. Here we buy our fruit, we know who the people are we're buying fruit from, and the juices that we use in our products. So it really comes all back down to our interest and a lot of the customers' interest of the family first end of things. So
I'm really glad you brought that up. It's such a unique part of, I think, the Pour Tour. Is family. Is busy. The families are running these establishments. We are inviting families to be a part of the Pour Tour, and like you said, to explore together, to go to these outdoor spaces, to bring the kids. You can do that, grab a bite to eat, shop through town, and do a bunch of wonderful things as you get your stamp in the passport. And also about where you are sourcing all of your grapes and everything from. Like you said, you're going through local farmers in order to procure this stuff. And that's amazing. We have breweries doing the same thing. They know where their grain is coming from. And even then when they're done, they're giving the grain to farmers that's going to feed the cows or do that. It's almost, we're almost doing the part of the circle of life here on the Pour Tour. So, I just love that part of it. It's what inspires me every time that, that I'm doing work for it. I think it's like what makes me want to post every day and talk about, all the great stuff that the Pour Tour is doing. And of course, meeting awesome people like you. Sure. So one thing I wanted to get into is, like you mentioned there is PA wine. People know like California wine, people may know other specific regions, but how about in your experience, you're the expert, what makes PA wine unique?
Well, I'm happy you're asking that question because it's Pennsylvania is probably the most important thing to me and my business in this winery, and just to be a resident here, to be a local to Pennsylvania, and to have this access to really some of the most amazing fruit on the market. You mentioned California. Everybody knows California. They do have amazing fruit there, and amazing wines come out of California. 25 years ago plus, I spent a lot of time there as well as New York, and really just loved all the wines. But with Pennsylvania, we're unique because we grow more of a table grape style grapes, and they're really conducive and suited to making sweet wine. In Pennsylvania, 85% of our market who purchases wine are going to purchase sweet wines.
Wow.
And easily 85%. We do make a full line of wines, which I'll discuss here in a little bit, some of the more individual stuff. But that's the real uniqueness compared to maybe Argentina or California or Italy is that you can find sweet wines that are done with most of the fruit is grown in Pennsylvania, even though we may source cranberries out of New Jersey or so it's really more of an East Coast kind of a fruit that we can pull from. But Pennsylvania is it's the customer base has a real appreciation to the complexities of sweet wines. Sweet wines in the past have gotten a real knock in the big industry, and the big wine and industry all over the world. But the truth is, when I'm making the wines, the sweet wines are much more difficult and much more subtle and complex to the taste. And it brings out more of the fruit flavors and the true flavors of the fruit by adding a little bit of the sweetness, whether it's sugar. We are Bee Kind Winery, which we do meads and melomels as well. So honey is another one of the sugars we use to sweeten the wines. But the Pennsylvania fruit, and that goes for a lot of the wineries, that are in Pennsylvania. Is there's just a lot of beautiful sweet wines. It really is.
I like this idea. I like the reclaiming the sweet wine. I would like it. We need to latch on to that. I think it gets a bad rap, and I think people turn up their nose at sweet wine. And it's like, I've been a sweet wine drinker my whole life. Like I can appreciate like Niagaras and all kind of different types of grapes and things that make a distinct taste. And it's stuff you can't get anywhere else. So it's interesting that you bring up how complex it is to bring out those flavors too. So this is not just dumping juice into a glass. We are having really intense processes to try to get this right, and even using different sweeteners, like you said, like honey, in order to bring that out.
Well, absolutely. I mean, with the sweet wines and just talking about their complexities. Now, when we start to put the honey into the wines as well, mead is honey and water fermented together. We do a type of mead called melomel, which is honey and fruit juice fermented together. And so what we'll do is we'll ferment our wines completely to a dry state. So just like a Cabernet Sauvignon or maybe a Malbec or something like that. And then I'll go back in and do a process called back sweetening, which is I'm either adding sugar or which we do not use corn syrup whatsoever in our wines, but we do use just straight Domino's sugar. We use only we feel the best for that for sweetening. But when we take the honey wines to dry, then we will put honey back into them to sweeten them. So we end up making our honey wines with almost triple the amount of honey that would typically be used in a mead or a melomel. Wow, with our processing. So, and it's something that I had learned 20 years ago off of a Hungarian gentleman out of West Virginia. I went to WVU's horticulture programs where I really picked the trade up. Okay. And I was going to greenhouse management and work as a grower, but did find the real enthusiasm for wine. And especially West Virginia at that time, 20 years ago, there was only a handful of wineries down there. And they, Forks of the Cheat Winery, actually, they are one of the big influences on my life, their owner and their family. And it was because he was bringing to the forefront that, listen, sweet wines are really desirable to this customer base. And that's where I kind of picked up on the fact that the sweet wines would end up being, really my focus on the different processing and for the wines.
That's great. Sharon, sorry, go ahead.
Joe, why don't you tell them a little bit about our Porter's Bridge and how that's come about?
Well, we do.
Very popular
I can talk about the honey wines in general. So right now we do a blackberry melomel. So it's blackberry and honey fermented together. Then we sweeten it back with honey. I do a blueberry that way as well. And then I take the two of those, which are a type of melomel. We blend them together 50-50 basically. And then add in brandy that's made by the Mazza family, their distillery up in Erie, which is one of the great winery, distillery, breweries in the state of Pennsylvania. Even though the distillery and brewery is at the New York border right there. But so we use that product in there. I source our honey from down at the Dutch Golden Lancaster, so it's North American honey that I use. We originally had used honey from the local scene, but we use 1,000 to 2,000 pounds of it a year. Wow. So we feel bad about the raw honey is a medicine, and so your local raw honey helps with allergies and all the good stuff that it does. So we stopped buying direct local honey to use in the wines, as well as me raising that myself, which is a full-time job for the amount of honey we need. Wow. So anyways, Sharon brings up our Porter's Bridge. It's our most expensive bottle. It is my signature beverage. We do, so I blend the two meads, the blackberry and the melomel, and then I add in the Catawba spirits, which is a type of brandy, so distilled grapes. We add in the honey, and then I also so we fortify that up to about 18%. We consider it a port, which most ports are. There's probably a little bit of controversy whether it's Spain or Portugal. But most ports, we're not even allowed to call them ports and produce them that way because legally they own the rights to the name port. Oh. So when I tried to get all the labels have to be approved by the government. And so when I tried to get approvals, we got the first couple shot down. And then right locally there, we're right on the west branch of the Susquehanna River. And there's a bridge right by the winery. And we call it Hogback Bridge is kind of the country in us, but the actual name of it's Porter's Bridge. So when I submitted that in, which has a picture of the old bridge on it from circa the 1920s or so, they gave me the approval on that, so I got port on the bottle, even though it's under Porter's. But it is one of my it is a popular wine as well. But yeah, it's definitely one of our babies.
Yeah, that's right. The amount of like care and effort that goes into all of this, like it's just amazing to me to hear this about like where you're sourcing every ingredient. It's all coming from different places, or you've even tried to source some of it yourself or make some of it yourself. Sure, that goes into your product. I love that amount of care. I love that amount of passion that goes into every bottle, because I don't think that's apparent unless we sit down and talk about it. You don't really understand, how does this go from grape into my glass. So,
yeah, well, and bring back to the whole, Pennsylvania and the kind of the uniqueness of our state in the wine industry is that, you're noticing that with me talking about sourcing it, but the majority of our wineries in the state of Pennsylvania, that's how they operate. They're really, locally focused and focused on the farming aspects, the great agriculture that Pennsylvania has, and sourcing things that are, that they, the wineries themselves like. A lot of the bigger wineries, they get what they get. They grow a lot of their stuff, of course, but it is a kind of a unique thing to Pennsylvania to see that really trying to source and also care for one another in the industry. We are competitors, but in the same breath, I could call many of the wineries, if not all of them, and ask a question, or if I needed help, or if they needed help, they could call me, and everybody feels pretty comfortable doing that with one another. Because the products, there's a lot of sweet wine in Pennsylvania, and that's why has exploded into, top 3 or 4 or 5 at times wine selling states in the country.
Wow.
To be quite honest, and it's because my opinion is that it is the sweet wines. So yeah,
that's a difference maker for sure. Yeah, man, you just bring up so much interesting stuff. I love like digging into this and getting into like, okay, why is this selling? Or like, what is standing out to people that make this a place to do that? And every time I see the stats about, like barrels of beer consumed or casks of wine and all that, I'm always just like PA's up there. Yeah. Maybe not population wise, but like they appreciate all of these beverages. That's awesome to see. So yeah, I wanted to transition a little bit, and Sharon, let's talk about the store itself. So we have some baskets in front of us. We have some of your wines in front of us. You want to just walk us through the whole experience of, when I come into Bee Kind Winery, kind of what can I expect? What am I looking for? And what do you have, right now for the holidays and all time?
Well, right now we're running our holiday spice is our special wine for the holiday. That's spiced up with some good cloves, cinnamon, a little bit of brandy, a little bit of honey. It's very good warmed up, or you can drink it cold, however you want to drink it.
With the holiday spice, if I can just interject real quickly, because it's the next of our signature wines. You talk about sourcing things. We use mixed fruits in it, so there's 5 different fruits in it, and then there's also honey in it. The honey wines are mixed into it, but the cinnamon that is sourced in there came from Grenada.
Oh, okay.
So we really have a lot of interest down in the Caribbean, and so we've sourced things down there like that, and so we leach that cinnamon in. It's an organic cinnamon that we use in that one. And with all the wines, I wanted to mention quickly too is we do not use any type of flavorings. We don't use any kind of concentrated flavorings, and we also don't use any colorings in the wine. And we also try to have one of the lowest sulfur levels in the industry standard versus the industry standard.
Wow.
So which helps with people that are sensitive to sulfurs, headaches, and things like that. And we tend to have a wine that most people can still enjoy, even if they have those sensitivities to a thing like the sulfurs that are the type of preservatives we use in the wines.
That's great. And yeah, I have such a good tradition in my family with that holiday wine. My dad always had one of those like spiced wines, and I just have a lot of good memories of him when we were 21, of course, letting us try the holiday spiced wine and stuff. And it's something that like we keep getting bottles of, and it always like makes me really nostalgic for him. So it's cool that you guys are offering that, and I definitely needed to leave with a bottle today.
Sounds good.
So what else we have going on? We have baskets, we have stuff all over the store.
We have a bunch of pre-made baskets here for sale. It all varies on what type of wine you want in there. We can customize your baskets. We have things here that we can put in it. We have salsas, we have relishes, we have some jellies, we have beer bread mix. We have some cheeses in our Gouda cheese in our baskets here. We even have some dip mixes. You can go home and make up some dip mixes for your baskets. Just a little bit of everything. But right now we're a little bit different because of the pandemic, just because we are limited to our space in here. So what we need you to do is come visit us and give us a call. We'll at our phone number, and all the instructions are outside. You come in. We have a great list of wines for you to look at. We just stand in here and have a lot of fun. I love my customers. We come in, I love to joke around with them, and just a great place. The building itself is historical. It used to be a hospital. I love to tell the story about how I was born here, and everybody gets a good kick of that. Our store is actually inside what used to be the operating room.
Oh, okay.
So we even have some wine glasses here with the Bee Kind logo on it. Great historic bar here. Joe and his family made our bar that we use. It's made out of reclaimed barnwood. We have Vermont maple top on it. Just a lot of great stuff in here.
Yeah, just to touch base on, I'm happy you mentioned about it because, with the pandemic and stuff and everybody's, dealing with it and trying to get our families through it as safe as possible. We do offer multiple other ways. We have both the stores here in Ligonier as well as Clearfield.
Right.
You can come in. We do ask that you wear a mask for the safety of all, especially for our own families personally, since I do have people working out here in this, which we have the whole way through. But there's options for people who are immune compromised or have any type of health issues or just want to be safe and be extra cautious. We can take a phone call, do your order on the phone, and we can curbside deliver things out to the vehicles. Which, when things are getting, amping up on that, we prefer that to help protect your families and our families as best we can with each other. But we have that. We also are offering once a month deliveries into the Pittsburgh region, the Harrisburg region, and then we also are offering out into the eastern side, north of Harrisburg up to Wilkes-Barre. So we're doing that once a month throughout the winter, especially with as things kind of ramp up on with the pandemic regulations and issues that we may come across if there would be any kind of shutdowns again on us. We also are not doing tastings down here currently. Due to the regulations and things that are happening. And then also the Clearfield store has, we're holed up on doing tastings there for now, which we will let everybody know as soon as we get back to that kind of stuff. Typically, you can come into the stores, taste whatever you want. We do almost 20 plus wines. Wow. And I do have a full line of dries, full line of the honey wines, and then the sweets in the middle there, which is the majority of our collection. So definitely want to check some of that kind of stuff out.
Great. That's great. You have so many different ways in order to enjoy it. Even if you're in Pittsburgh or out of region, a lot of ways to get this awesome wine to you, which is nice.
But we ship as well. Just last thing you can always, and the best way to do it is to jump on and watch us on Facebook and stuff. It's, to keep up to date on what we're doing and when and how. And also for any of that, you can message us on Facebook to have us call and get an order for a delivery or a shipping. So
perfect. And Sharon, you're great to visit. I know my mom loves coming in here and visiting with you. You would think you guys are old friends.
Yep. She's like, I've known her all my life.
Yeah,
she's a great lady.
I love that. So now she loves coming in to Bee Kind. So I just love that. It's a nice little stop.
Her favorite wine's Camp Red.
Camp Red. All right.
100% Concord.
Yeah. So
and what we are doing right now through December 19th, anybody purchases a bottle of wine, we are giving out tickets for a chance to win a gift basket.
Nice.
We'll be doing the drawing at December 19th at 5 p.m. So yeah, come on in and see us.
Yeah, plenty of reasons to come in. Like I said, like great gifts. I see like awesome cheeses and stuff in these baskets. All the wine is amazing. So yeah, now is the time to come in, do some Christmas shopping, and it's already done for you. No one has to know you didn't pack these yourself, right?
That's right.
Take the price tag off, put a bow and a
There you
name on
go.
it, and let's go.
We got some really cute Christmas boxes. We can put single wine bottles in. They're very cute. We have gift certificates we can give you for just somebody hard to buy for. Let them come in and choose their own thing.
I love it.
So
Oh, here's something I want to mention. Sometimes people on the pour tour, they go and they like one specific type of thing. So they do the pour tour and they hit the 18 breweries and then they're like kind of stuck. And they like, they're not really sure. They're not wine drinkers, or maybe they drank wine before and they had it wasn't for them, or who knows what they drank. So let's say I'm a career beer drinker and I'm coming into Bee Kind for the first time. Can you walk me through maybe like where I should start? What should be the first thing that I taste? What's something I can go home happy with?
Well, I always ask, like, what would you lean towards? Like, what maybe kind of fruit do you like? You definitely want to start with your dry wines. If you want to try a dry one, always start there first, and then work your way down to the sweets. Actually, for my beer drinkers, and I've had quite a few people I've done this to. I'm like, so you're a beer drinker. I bet I can give you something that you're probably going to walk out of here with. And it is the Porter's Bridge. First of all, they like the alcohol content in it. You got to tell them, like, it's a very good wine to have with a cigar. I don't know that personally, but a lot of our people that buy it say it's a really good cigar tasting wine with your cigar. And it's a good after dinner wine. And I'll say you can just sip it. And so for a beer drinker, that's normally where I start with our honey wines, because it's the blackberry, the blueberry. They know their blackberries and their blueberries.
Right.
But definitely get them to start out with not even dry. Maybe start with your semi-sweets, something you like. A pink catawba has a nice pink grapefruit finish with it. Hey, Jared, do you like a good pink grapefruit? Yeah, I like pink grapefruit. Well, here, you got to try this one. So then a cranberry blush, 80% cranberry, 20% white wine. You like cranberries? You're going to love this wine. Then you get into our sweets. You have some Camp Red, which I like to call my adult grape juice, 100% Concord. Then you get into the mixed wines, where our Susquehanna Red. You have some Camp Red in there, and you have some Aurora in there, which is a white wine. So you just got to find out what that beer drinker likes to drink when he's not drinking alcohol.
Right.
And just go from there.
Yeah, a lot of beer drinkers and people, that like to go do the tastings and stuff. Beer. A lot of times you'll find beers that are creamy, kind of a feel or a flavor to them, and so a lot of times, like our Rails to Trails Red, which is our very best-selling wine.
It's so good.
It is our best, and I'll tell you what, it has like a creaminess, which is kind of an odd taste structure, a flavor structure within wines. And so a lot of times that's a good one. Beer drinkers do it. It's a little more of a sweet wine, of course. But I try not to have any of the wines sickeningly sweet. I mean, some people, they want it to be super sweet. But we try to really, the balance is the number one thing that I focus on in the work I do with the wines. And so you really want to have that touch of sweet, but yet a touch of the acid or the sour to it. And that kind of, when you put those two together, you want them to come up and finish smooth, not like puckers up your mouth or it scratches your throat. You want it to be smooth all the way through. And to get those types of balances, that's what really is the hard part of the wine process and the winemaking. But in concerns to a beer drinker, the distilled people, they love to come in and check out our, like Sharon said, our Porter's Bridge and our spiced wine, because those ones have distilled products in them as well. And so we've been working towards that. The winery is currently in the process of setting up our distillery as well. So we'll be adding that into it in the next couple of years.
Great.
So we're pretty excited to see that happening. But So it's in concerns of the beer drinkers.
Yeah, I'm going to get into what you guys have planned on the horizon, but yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. As you guys can see, we're dealing with the experts here. Do you see how many recommendations these guys had just from that simple question? They're going to find you something with 20 different wines here. You're going to find something that you like. I think when we first came in here the first time, I was with two of my coworkers, and we all had very different tastes, and we all left here with a bag of wine.
You did.
That was not my plan that day, but I came with Portor books, and I left with
and you've been
tons
back
of wine.
for more.
That's right. So you were dealing with the experts here, like to come in and make you familiar with it and find something that you're really going to enjoy, or find a good gift for someone in your life that would enjoy wine. So yeah, now that we covered that, I do want to go, what's on the horizon? What's next for Bee Kind?
Well, first things first, we're trying to, we got to get ourselves through this pandemic.
Right.
And get all the families, our customers, everybody too. And so we're really focused on that and trying to stay cautious as we can to deal with it. Plus it's changed our business. So, we originally, our winery is, our brand has been built on the road shows. We're a show winery. We go to usually 100 licenses a year, which is we're allowed to do with the state. And so that's offsite licenses. And we go to wine festivals. Most people know if they're on the Portor, they've been going to wine festivals for a long time as well. So when we lost that, we lost about 75% of our sales in the beginning there between March and June of last year. So we're really focused right now on trying to come up with a way to be a little more of a custom winery. Where we do, the delivery service is really ramping up. So I do a lot of that now, which, really puts more of a personal touch on things. I can, we know these customers that are getting the deliveries, or if we don't, we get to know them on their first delivery, so we can kind of keep an eye on their budgets, when they want to buy more, because it's, wine is expensive, and so we want everybody to get what they want, but not to blow their budget because they're worried they can't get it again.
Right.
And so that's why the delivery service is in there. The stores, we're going to keep on operating and doing, whether it's curbside or not. The distillery, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be working on that over the next couple of years here. And then also my family, we're a culinary based family. The wines, we make the wines with culinary is kind of always in the back burner for us. My brother, who's the other winemaker and owner in my business, he was a chef in Vermont for 15 years. Pseudo retired to come down here and kind of bail me out of the craziness this became.
Right.
So my son's going to culinary school currently, and so we're hoping to maybe looking to maybe a food truck or something down the way. So we're kind of thinking about that on the horizon in the sense of what we could do. And then we also we have I'd mentioned about the Caribbean. We have a real interest down there, so that's something that's always on my back burner for me personally to go down there. I would love to be able to make wine and process some of that beautiful fruit that's in the Caribbean, specifically Puerto Rico is the interest. And so we're looking at that for the future. And the main thing is to have this be a family business with a legacy that my boys can both, if they choose to. My oldest, it looks like he is at this point going to want to take over, and which would be great. That's 3 or 4 years out, and then I can start to travel a little more again and get back into it. But so that's kind of the game plan. Some of our future stuff, but right now we're doing almost around 18,000 gallons a year over the last about 5 years, and then we're going to, with the pandemic stuff, it's kind of pushed us back into dropping. I'm going to drop our gallonage back down to be more of a 10,000 gallon winery. It's going to be more of a craft and specialty wine producing, and that was the roots of how we started.
Right. That's wonderful. Well, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And Sharon, do you want to just end this with how we can get in touch with you? You're going to give us the numbers, the hours, social media, all that fun stuff.
We're generally open Thursday, Friday, 12 to 6, Saturday, 11 to 5. We will be open this Sunday for the Ligonier Townwide Open House. It's a chance for everybody to come out and shop all these little shops here in Ligonier and stop in and see us. The best place to look for us is on Facebook, Ligonier. We do a lot of our advertising on there. You can always call 724-420-1631. That's our store phone. We do appointments on Tuesday and Wednesdays. Just give me a call and, we can meet up with you here. So yeah, that's the best way to get a hold of us, best way to come in,
Mhm.
and just bear with us, as we generally do keep the door locked because there's other businesses in this building and just to keep everybody safe. But all you have to do is call that phone number. We let you come in and have a good time in here, and just hope for when we get back and do our fine tastings and just have a real party atmosphere.
That's right. That's what we're looking forward to.
Yep.
No doubt about it. Now, I'd like to just also make one last mention just to some of the local businesses and other wineries here that really have been good to us, good to my family in the past, and people that we respect. And I'd like to give a shout out so that some of you guys in this port tour go and check out definitely Glades Pike Winery, which everybody knows Glades because they've been there for a long time. But Steve and the family there, they were a huge influence and have been there for me ever since day one of my winery.
That's great.
Including their winemaker who used to be there was Josh Hetrick. He has a Vinda Matrix new winery, and boy, I tell you what, some of the great dry wines that's in Pennsylvania, probably some of the top stuff really is. And he's got a beautiful little family winery. Definitely got to check that one out. La Vignetta, Francesca and her family, and Chaz, Dad. They are doing great things with their wines, and they're a little bit of a newer winery, but also one that has been around long enough that they've really got some nice product worth checking out. So definitely see those guys. And then the restaurant that's here at the Seeger House, Miriam's. You got to come try her food. Top end chef, great person,
all curbside and wonderful, worth every bite.
That's right. So that's right here with us. So you can call that in and pick that up on the way out with some wine as well. And there's countless other ones, but I just wanted to throw those out there because, us small businesses, us wineries, us food industry people are taking a real big hit right now. The customers on these pour tours are going to make us survive. It's because of the pour tours and all of our good customers that come in here. And that goes for all these small businesses. And we really hope that when you go into a liquor store, you grab a local Pennsylvania wine. Right. If you go in and you can get to one of our small wineries, please come buy the wine from us. Our businesses, are going to need a hand getting through all this, and we all want to be here when it all ends. So let's please support local. And we can't thank all these customers that come to us, local, small family wineries and businesses, because it's the only thing that's going to save us through this. And it's been amazing and really heartfelt to see the amount of support we have from our customer base to just make sure they're grabbing stuff from us and keep on patronizing all of our businesses. So I had to mention that again, just because of the state of the affairs. So and the Pour Tour and the tourism boards, we can't thank them enough either. Jared, thank you for that. Appreciate that. It is the way we can get the message out to everybody and all work together as just one big team of taking care of each other, keep a family based, and supporting all these, beautiful small businesses. Pennsylvania is just so blessed with just tons of them. And I'll tell you what, it's an amazing thing for me to be a part of that in the state. So, thank you. And I got to thank my customers. I mean, they are just carrying us all along.
Man, I can't say it much better than that. So Joe, Sharon, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I hope everyone listening today has just heard how much knowledge and passion and expertise is coming through from these two individuals to go and to make Bee Kind such a great place to visit. And I just want to reiterate one more time, everything you're doing out there by listening to the podcast, by making these purchases, is supporting small business. You're helping everybody get through this from the smallest family-owned places all around Pennsylvania. So thank you so much for being out there, supporting local as much as you can, and doing amazing things like the Pour Tour. In case you haven't started yet, you can just go to lhpourtour.com. We'll send you a free passport in the mail. You don't even need to come in. And then you can immediately start gutting out, getting your stickers, and going from there. So every time you get a purchase, you get a sticker, trade those in for great prizes. And why not make your first stop right here at Bee Kind Winery?
And we have the passport books for you here also. And Jared, on an end note, from Bee Kind Winery Ligonier, and I'm sure from Joe, we all wish everybody a happy and safe holiday. and do what you can to stay safe.
Mhm.
And what's our motto, Joe? Be
That's
kind to
all.
yourself and everybody around you.
That's right. It's always better to be kind.
We love it. Let's end it there. Be kind, everyone.